Nice to see you. So how's the squad looking after the international break?
Yes, all right. Today, more or less the first time all the players back together. Several players were able to return back on the training pitch after international duty. Some just need a bit individual sessions or recovery sessions. So more or less the whole team together. We'll just have them tomorrow, more or less in the final session. It's always a bit tricky to prepare, but we are used to it. So nothing major. Everyone's in a good mood. After also a few disappointing results on international duty, but nevertheless, everyone is happy to be back, and we're looking forward to have this game.
So some decisions to make team selection-wise this weekend then?
Yes, but like always, also after international games, we'll have to take some late decisions due to the load, due to some little knocks and hits and some late flights. And we have to pick the team pretty late. So we'll just do it after our final session tomorrow afternoon before we travel then to Burnley. And for that, we have not picked our squad for this game today. So we'll just pick it after the last final session tomorrow. Then we'll see who is ready to start, ready to be in the squad, and some final decision plan.
Big game on Saturday without our trip to Burnley. Some saying it's a must-win game. I mean, would you agree with that?
Big game is always a game on Premier League level. All 38 games are big, and you have to prepare like for a festive period for each every game. If you don't do this, you have no chance on Premier League level. But just for both teams, another chance to win some points, and definitely not for must-win game. So it's an away game for a newly promoted side. An away game is always you're always underdog in the game if you have an away game on this level. Also, remember last season, Burnley, fantastic season, 100 points. For us, it were the two most difficult games last season. Yeah, why should it be right now a must-win game? So we haven't won one game last season against Burnley, and still managed to win the league and win 100 points. So it's definitely not a must-win game. There's also just another opportunity for both teams to be there. And we're also traveling good spirits and know that if we are at our best, we have a chance to win points, and we prepare for this game also like in the same professional way like for all the other games. And yeah, I want to be competitive again.
Leeds, your team have been playing well recently, but maybe not got the points that they deserve in the last couple of games. The next 5 games, I think, are all against teams currently in the bottom half. So is this period coming up, potentially sort of vital period in the season for Leeds, with your ambitions to keep your team in the Premier League?
Doesn't matter where you win the points, and I also take points as an underdog against top teams. In the end, you have to be there with a 1-point average per game. And this is more or less our approach. And right now, I wouldn't label it as an easier period for us. It's totally the other way around. If we want to cut the Premier League season into pieces, we had a great start the first 3 games. And in between the international breaks, the last 4 games, I would agree we had excellent performances. Would have deserved even more points out of this 4 games. So 4 games with top performance level, but also a solid outcome out of points. 4 points out of this 4 games. It's exactly the average you need per game. Could have been a bit more, should have been a bit more, and we're a bit unlucky. That's right. But right now is also like the next period, and it's the same again. Out of this 4 games till the next international break, we want again to win as many points as possible. I would judge it as a difficult period because we have 3 away games, just 1 home game, and we take it step by step. So right now we are just focused and concentrated on this Burnley game, and to give ourselves a chance with a top performance again to win points. And then of course it's also, you need on the game day also a bit luck, and like always in life and always in football, and for that we are just focused on this game and want to win as many points as possible.
Hi Daniel, Tanaka, Aronson, Beale, I can understand their travel and their play and what have you, so you've got to make a decision whether they're going to be okay to cope with the weekend. But what about the more sort of permanent injury you had? Gnonto, Perri, and of course Dan James as well. Are they in the mix now?
Yes, some mixed news. Good news with Lucas Perri, so he was able to train the last 2 weeks together with us, so was able to use also this international break to build up a bit his fitness level. Of course, after being out so long, he can't be there at 100%, but you see him growing more or less from day to day, which is good news. With Willy Gnonto, he won't be available for this game because his calf problems are sorted. But sadly, he had to use the international break for a little minor hernia surgery. So not a major thing, but he need to do this, and will be just back in team training next week. So I expect him then to have him available, perhaps already for Friday evening for the next home game, but definitely not for this away trip. Very positive and good news with Daniel James, because he's a bit ahead of schedule in his rehab. So compliment also to our medical department, our rehab coaches. He was even involved already, I would say, in major parts of team training during this week. He's definitely not in contention for the starting lineup, but due to the fact that we have lots of load and also a few problems in training, Okafor is also struggling a little bit with some adductor problems. He could be perhaps even in contention to be picked for the squad. So I didn't expect this, to be honest. It's definitely positive news with him, and he could be in contention for the travelling squad and also for some minutes. Yes.
On the goalkeeping front, how much thought did you put into what you saw from Karl Darlow in the international break with Wales, or had you made up your mind already before that? I know I'm going to do it, Burnley, regardless of whether Lucas Perri's it.
No, in general, of course, I also watch the international games, but I don't over-interpret them because their national teams are sometimes playing also differently. Of course, I have a close look at what my players are doing, but the most important is also what happens here for us in the games and on the training pitch. And for that, I was happy what Karl has done so far. And yes, so for that, nothing has changed on international duty.
Talked a lot about Harry Gray at times. I know you don't want to, but one of the questions I've been asked the most during the international break is, where are the club at with him now? He's turned 17. Are you confident that a deal will be done to keep him at the club beyond his existing contract?
So normally we just speak about business once business is done. That's one of my principles, and I will stick to it. Harry, first of all, is also with his hip flexor problems out of team training at the moment. He needs a few more days. I expect him also to be back in the squad then. Probably back in team training next week. And of course, behind the scenes, we are trying to build also our squad for the future. And we're trying to do some business and trying to do positive negotiations also for us with players that attract us. And Harry, of course, is a young player. Yes, where we see a lot in him. We have spoken about this. And I expect also that there are some positive news in the future. Sometimes not speaking about any special player because I just speak about business once business is done. But in general, it also makes sense. For example, if you extend a contract or also announce the extending of a new contract, that you just do this once the player is fit and available. And so for that, I expect also that it's not too far away that we will have some positive news also with some players in our squad, yes.
Thank you. And finally, on the Burnley game, we don't want to see the 0-0 that we saw last year. A bit more over than that.
Oh.
But it is significant because you're 4 points clear at the moment. Now, when you look at how they have fared so far, they're not performing great either in defence or attack, but you are as well. So do you feel, comparatively speaking, you've made quite a big stride compared to them last season?
I don't judge performances or developments at other clubs. I want to stay classy, and anyhow, I wouldn't expect any other manager to speak about us anyhow in these terms. Yes, if you would like to interpretate something a bit more, you could say, due to the points in a home game, they have perhaps even a bit more pressure than us who are already on 8 points and have an away game. But I also don't believe in playing mind games or whatever. It's just, Scott is doing such a fantastic job there, and they had also a tough start in terms of fixtures into the season. They were competitive in each every game, and I don't expect any easy moments in this game. So I have to say the games where it was also realistic for them to pick up points home games against the teams who perhaps not in the best position. They have picked up points. They were competitive in each and every game. Quite often the game was decided by one goal. The only game that was a bit unfortunate in terms of result was, I think, against Man City. But it also, like, when you have a look at this game, it was much closer performance-wise than the results would make you think. A bit like our game at Arsenal. But this happens on this level. So I think they have all chances also to achieve their targets. And for that, I'm quite respectful. So I'm just happy with our development so far because, yeah, like you mentioned, we were a bit unlucky in terms of points. But on this level, you can't bake results. You just can deliver performances, and this is what we have done. And I think over the course of the whole long season, in terms of being lucky or unlucky, in the end, it will be quite equal. And if this will happen, I'm pretty sure we'll also win some points lucky then at some point. Not that I hope for this at the weekend. I hope that we win some points, but also deserved. Want to be there with a good performance. But again, so Burnley, what they have done also in last season is fantastic. Also good start, especially performance-wise, into the season. And I expect a pretty tight and competitive game.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I know you wouldn't normally talk about opposition players, but in terms of Jaiden Anthony, who I know has got a place in his heart for Leeds United because of how both the club and the fans, I suppose, looked after him when he had a dark time in his life because of his mum, bless him. Is it possible to describe what sort of a person and a player that he is, or at least in his time here?
Yes, it's possible. And Jaiden has definitely also place in my heart and our heart as well, because he was a fantastic player to work with, a fantastic teammate. Was always great to have him around. It was a joy each and every day to work with him, and his potential was also never in doubt. He was a bit unlucky with a few minor injuries also at our time, and also a bit unlucky because at this time I think we had Chris Summerville on his position in outstanding form. He was player of the season with nearly 20 goals and double figures and assists, and sadly for us it was good, but for Jaiden was a bit unlucky that he played more or less on his position. But I've always labeled Jaiden as a Premier League player and a top player with great potential. Top player and even better human being. It's always great to see him, and my fingers will always be crossed. And fantastic start to the season. Credit to this. Not a surprise for me, not at all. He's a top player with a top attitude. So perhaps not tomorrow, not tomorrow. On Saturday, the fingers are perhaps not crossed, but in all the other games, my fingers are always crossed because he's a fantastic person. Yes.
And obviously, you both promoted teams into the Premier League this season. Apart from the obvious of the opposition of a higher quality in the Premier League, what are you finding the biggest difference in the Premier League as compared to last season, apart from the quality of the opposition?
A bit less games, which is positive in comparison to the Championship. Much better opponents, much better individual quality of all teams anyhow, which makes it more difficult. So, of course, the Premier League is the best league in the world, the most competitive league. You have to be always at your best. And even if you're there with your very best performance, it's never a guarantee that you can also pick up points. On Championship level, I would say if we are there with a top performance, then there's no chance also for us to lose a game or to just draw a game anyhow. So when we were at the top of our game, it was more or less always the fact that we would win the 3 points. On this level, you can even have your best day, but if you play the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, and they have also their best day, then it's also a bit difficult for us. So this is definitely a fact, and you have to adapt to it and have to be realistic about this. But nevertheless, it's great fun and great joy also to play in the best league in the world. And we've also shown that we are definitely have earned the right to play there and are competitive in each and every game wherever we go. And it's great that this club, Leeds United, is back on the top level.
Thank you.
Hi Daniel, I don't know if you managed to catch mighty Germany struggling against a young, brave Northern Ireland team in the week. I wondered, when it comes to the Premier League this season, what can team spirit do for Leeds United against superior opposition, and what does it look like practically?
Yes. Yes, football, everything is possible, especially in one game. It's another proof for this. And yes, it's a factor that has to be on our side. We have to be I know it's difficult, because on Premier League level, more or less each and every player and all the teams are machines. But we have to be even fitter than that. We have to be more spirited, more together, more united, and to be there with a better team spirit. And also, perhaps sometimes even to be a bit more flexible. It's just a fact as a newly promoted side. If we are really honest and realistic, in comparison to nearly all of our opponents, we have less individual quality. That's just a fact. So for that, you have, in comparison to if you are more or less the main team in the league, like we were perhaps in last season, you have to adapt also a bit more to the strengths of the opponents. So quite often you have to mirror them a little bit more in terms of how you want to press, for example, in order to take their strength away. And team spirit and fighting spirit and togetherness is an important topic. And this is also why we won't allow to have anyone in our group who will disturb this. I just need players who are fully committed, who are fully convinced of this task, who want to be part of this journey, who are not selfish, just thinking about contracts, minutes, whatever. It's more or less like, no, they want to be a part of the Premier League side, Leeds United, who writes history. So we need the spirit and need this lads and need this character. And for that, we were also pretty picky in terms of bringing characters in, and also to pick characters who should be within this group for the Premier League, because it's a big challenge. Yeah, sometimes you also have to live with setbacks or also with a bit unlucky result on this level. It happens. Just important that you have players who don't dwell under it and don't start with finger pointing when there are mistakes. It's more like show this fighting spirit and togetherness. And I have to say the lads are top class so far, but the season is long. We have to keep going exactly in this way as well.
How do you protect a team culture and a team spirit when you're bringing in so many players in one summer? How do you make sure it doesn't change?
First of all, to be picky and careful who you bring in. Then second, also to live the culture, also a bit like a role model, not just me, but the whole staff and everyone is on it, and to have this also each and every day. And when there is something that goes into the wrong direction, then perhaps not to punish too much in public, but internally, I don't like vanity in our meeting or in our dressing room. So there will be also some clear messages and some clear words, and then also to act like this. If someone is not going this way, then you have to act, because if it has no consequences, then you lose the culture anyhow. So it's for me always an important thing. I wanted, also when I joined the club, for me it was clear I wanted to bring principles, patterns, a philosophy how we play, a philosophy how we work, but also a philosophy of our values and how we behave. And this is, you have to be on it on this level each every day, because it's high class. There are top players with big egos and many challenges also around the players anyhow. So for that you have to be also sometimes strict if needed. It's not like just always an arm around the shoulder. So sometimes you also have to make sure what you want to see, but also credit to them, it was not that often so far during the season that they had to do something in this direction. I think they're exceptional and really pretty unique also in this terms, and it's really a joy to work with this group.
Hi Daniel. Just on the goalkeeper situation again, obviously it's good that Lucas Perri is back available. Karl Darlow has played really well when Lucas has been on the sidelines. Is there any chance that Karl can keep his place for the weekend, or is it a case of Lucas is my number one?
No, the positive thing is definitely that Lucas is back in team training. Of course, we signed him also like with his potential. So it means Lucas has also a good chance. I will just name the squad tomorrow after our last training to be the first time since a while to be back with us on the traveling squad. But definitely not the topic right now for the starting lineup straight away, because his last game is, I think, 7 or 8 weeks ago. So he played the last time in August, and of course, he's not, after being out for such a long time, he's not at 100%. It's also not that he has played already 100 games on Premier League level. He's new in this country, came with a injury in pre-season, played then 3 games, and right now is out since more or less a couple of months, at least out without a game. It's good that he's back anyhow. But it's also like good to have him back in training for the last 2 weeks. But on the other hand, many players who are also important for him and his game, were not with us in the last days, and he didn't have any training session with them. So Joe Rodon was away, Jaka Biol was away, Gabi Gudmundsson was away, Islam Badu was away, Ilya Gruev was away, Ao Tanaka was away. So Lucas trained great, but no one of these players who are crucial for him, centre-backs, central midfielders, full-backs, were with us. So we just have one session, more or less, with the whole team together tomorrow. And for that, after being for 7 weeks out without a game, not being in his rhythm, new in this country, it's no chance anyhow to be in the starting lineup when you're not there with 100% fitness. The good thing is we can allow ourselves also to do this, because Karl has done so well. In the end of last season, during pre-season, and also in the last 4 games when we needed him. So the advantage of him is more or less he was away also with many of my defensive players. He's in a good rhythm, has played many games for us. I would say really solid, reliable performances, and the players are also used to play with him. So takes also a bit the pressure away from Lucas that he would come in without being fully prepared for such a situation. Right now we have such a quick turnaround, also important game, and also for that is no chance under this circumstances to be back in the starting lineup. But it's good to have Lucas Perri available. But you can see also fitness-wise, he is building from week to week. But before this becomes a topic, we definitely need 1-2 weeks anyhow with the team and also with the whole team to train, and then we can speak about this topic. But for me, it's also never in doubt that Karl will start the game. Yes.
Thank you. Speaking about Wales, Rodon obviously scored for Wales the other day. He seems to. You mentioned the other day how his attacking headers have seemed to be more efficient and seem to just be more on target. Is that something that you have worked on with him specifically in training, or is that something that's just come about naturally?
That's one of my achievements here in my reign. I'm most proud of from all what I have achieved here, because from the first day when Joe Rodon walked in, I told him, listen, I won't allow this. Such a guy who's so strong in defensive headers, who is so good with the head, and I look at your goal record, and 1,000 game on senior level, 0 goals, and I won't work with you anymore. So further on, and I won't start you if you don't improve this. I'm on it each and every day, each and every training week. So he has to take so many offensive headers. I'm still not 100% happy with this outcome, but it seems like it works. So sometimes tough love and being strict works. He's improving a lot. For us, for Wales, I'm happy with this. So he's developing more and more to become a goal threat, and this is what you have to do. So it's an important topic. I've mentioned and spoke about this so often. So there is always, if you want to achieve something, if you want to win a title, if you want to win a cup, there's always this game that you have to win with set pieces. And this is a mentality that you also need to have as a defensive player. So it's not like, oh, I'm annoyed that I have to do the meters into the opponent's box and then I have to sprint back. I would rather stay lazy at the back and then I don't have to do the meters. Come on, be greedy to score a goal. And this is what he's improving a lot. He's also improving his offensive header technique a lot and becomes more and more a goal threat right now. And hopefully it continues, and it's important for us. It's a strength that you need to have also as a defensive player right now, also to chip in sometimes with goals out of set pieces. And really, no jokes, one of my proudest achievements, because I thought it would never happen because he was so poor when he arrived. Meanwhile, he is at least solid, I would say.
Hi, Daniel. What's your stance on players using external coaches or training beyond your sessions at Thorpe Arch? We know Noah uses a sprints coach, and we saw Jack training in Marbella during the break.
It's different to my generation. Our generation, the players earn so much more money than perhaps 20 or 30 years ago. So if they invest in private chefs and private coaches, anyhow, it's at least money spent senseful. Anyhow, I'd rather have this instead of investing in some unnecessary things, anyhow, or some stupid things, anyhow. So it's definitely a good investment to invest in this. the main thing is that they also don't do anything stupid. So I won't allow any individual coach of a player here into our training ground or speak about the program anyhow. So it's what we are doing. Also, like when there are a few days off, they also have a special program from us that they have to do. But if they want also then to use individual coaches anyhow, no problem at all. I'm struggling a little bit when they comment too much in the publicly anyhow, but it's also like, yeah, they want to earn money anyhow, so they're Premier League players or Bundesliga players or whatever, they're proper targets anyhow, so for that of course they use it, and I don't blame them. Everything's okay as long as everything is professional and also in a sensible way. Good, rather to work a bit too much in order to work not good enough, but the main thing is that the club and the coaches here should always be in control, and this is what I make sure and is a fact. But if anyone wants to do additional work, yeah, better than to hang around in whatever pubs and eating just burgers anyhow, rather additional work. I love this.
Jonny Howson works within the 21s. I appreciate that, and you're very, very busy with the first team. But I know as a manager, you've got an oversight of everything that goes on here. Have you seen in his first few months an impact that Johnny's made around the training ground with young players, maybe even some of your senior players, given what Johnny has achieved? How do you see his role at the moment?
Impact on me, because when I heard the news that we wanted to sign Jonny Howson for our under-21, I said, no, we sign him for the first team. I love him as a player, really. When I joined Norwich anyhow, I just had him 2 weeks in pre-season. Sadly, we were so much under pressure in financial terms. We had to sell him anyhow. He was such a great lad and such a top player, and yeah, I always told him with his quality and his calmness on the ball, he can play till 45. So even sometimes when I watch over to the other pitch and see how smooth he's still on the ball and composed, it's more or less like then I'm a bit tempted to call him up for our training. We had a bit like in-house friendly also in the international break. I told my players, listen, Jonny Howson, we spoke about how we want to press. He's unpressable. You don't even have to try it. And, he's top class. So don't worry, I won't call him up. But I think to have a lad like him around with his personality, also with his Leeds roots, then as a role model for the young lads, it's a perfect thing that you need to have. So I think it's also an important part and cornerstone of our philosophy to have really our former players involved, and also local boys within the club. Anyhow, so of course you just can't run a Premier League side just with local boys anyhow, but whenever it's possible, then also to do this, and it's a joy to have Jonny around. It's for me not possible to watch the training sessions each and every day, and don't see him each and every day and that often, but overall I think it's a really good thing.
Thank you.
Mark?
Hi Daniel. When you talk about generating a team spirit and growing a culture and not allowing vanity in the dressing room, do you think the players see you more as a friend or more as strictly a gaffer? And how hard is it to strike the balance?
I don't know. You have to ask them. I wouldn't think they see me as a friend, if I'm honest. But sometimes also a bit like hopefully a friendly advice, or a bit like you. When you have a father in your family, you wouldn't judge him as a friend anyhow, and I've got quite often a similar role. I've spoken about this. If you have to lead a group of 30 players, just 11 are allowed to start. Very often, just 6 are allowed to play 90 minutes. And from this 6, you have 2 or 3 who are playing in their eyes on the wrong position or are criticized too much. Normally, you just have 2 or 3 players who are happy with you, and all the others are in between. Okay, he's all right, or want to bite in his neck. This is the reality of a manager in modern football. So I would say 27 players of my group who wouldn't call me as a friend, perhaps 2 or 3, but also not as a friend, if I'm honest. But for me, it's important that I have a trustful relationship with them, and that they know I care for them. And even players who are perhaps not in the spotlight or don't play at the moment anyhow, that they know, okay, I care about them, and I know how they feel, and I know why they're disappointed, and I take care that I give my whole capacity and also whole concentration also in order to improve them and provide them also good knowledge. Not like the main man, whatever, the captain who is at the moment in the spotlight. I'm just concentrate on him. I hopefully also work with number 28, 29 at the moment, or players who are perhaps even injured, really concentrate and focus. At least this is my my approach, and I try it. If I'm perfect every day, I can't promise this, and because I'm also just a human being. But I also would like to think that hopefully everyone who is in our group will also speak then also in a positive way about our relationship and about how I was as a manager. I try to be consistent, so also in trying to be fair as possible and the right and the same rules for each and every player, and not to differ between a 32-year-old leader too much and a 19-year-old youngster. Of course, youngsters have to carry the bags and to tidy up the pitch. And of course, they are a bit old school in these terms. But apart from this, how I treat them as human beings, hopefully, at least this is what I want to do. I do it always in an equal way, and this is what I try to do. How they would describe me, probably more strict than a friend, I would say, but you have to ask them.
We'll move on to the embargo section now, if we can turn cameras off, please.